the win over UTSA and try to close this one out against Temple. The ball goes in, the foul called.
You see the score, heartbreak at the Liacouras Center as the Temple men drop their second game in a row, and they do it on Hooters' birthday.
And yet another tough loss has the women's squad fighting for its playoff lives.
And I'm Haley Smith, live at the Liacouras Center, taking a look at the women's game and its issues with turnovers. Courts in Session is live and starts tout de suite.
And I'm Tamar Stubbs, live from the studio set. Later in the show, I'll give you my predictions for some of the Men's American Conference postseason awards. Courts in Session is live and starts right now.
Yet another edition of Courts in Session. As always, I'm Xavier Adams alongside my guy, Pat Dallahan. It's only been a couple of days since we last saw each other, but we figured you guys already missed us.
I mean, how could you not miss these faces? But, well, our crew had a blast of a Sunday afternoon during our first ever post-game live show. The same can't be said for the Temple men's basketball squad. On Sunday, the North Texas Mean Green made their way to North Broad to join the Owls on a very special day. Forget President's Weekend, it was Hooters' birthday. But on a day made for celebrating, Sunday was filled with anything but. North Texas and Temple ready for a birthday battle on our favorite Feathered Friends Day. Say that 5 times fast. Aiden Tobiasen had a strong day from beyond the arc, going 3 for 5 from three-point clan, including this for his first make. Jemai Felt tacking on to the Temple lead with this tough and one layup. Lot of contact. Sometimes it'd rather be lucky than good. Demarion Watson agrees. This shot hit every part of the hoop. Temple down to Darian Ford with the equalizer. Wait, didn't we just see this guy? A minute later, it's Ford again, this time knotting the game at 15 with the scoop finish. Everything about this defensive possession from North Texas was perfect. Late in the shot clock, contested 3, and it somehow still goes for Toby, his second 3 of the day. North Texas won the offensive rebound battle 13-10, and 2 of them came on this play alone. Some easy misses lead to the second of 2 made threes on the day for North Texas, and Temple takes a 6-point lead to the second half.
Into that second half we go, and we're starting the Swish Gilliard show. First, it starts with his third 3-ball of the night from his spot in the corner. Same spot again, this time fully contested, but Swish is feeling it and gets the bench to their feet. Good old momentum, however, was not impressed. Jashawn Stevenson tacks on the mid-range jumper as North Texas mounts a comeback. Down just 2, Stevenson again with a nasty spin move gets the layup to go, and we're tied. Owls down looking for any hot hand. Of course, Gilliard gets it and gets the and one bucket. It's a 3-point play. North Texas bumping bodies in the inside. 6'3" E.J. Horton somehow got the putback to go. Owls down 4. Jordan Mason makes a 3-point play of his own with the and one. Owls down, less than 20 ticks remain. Jemai Felt gets the easy 2-hand slam, but from there, the Mean Green never give up the lead, and they close out the game and complete the comeback. Final score, 65-62. The Owls started the game strong and led at half, but caught a cold and didn't bring the Tylenol. They suffered a 6-minute scoring drought in the second half and lost the momentum battle from there on. Dylan Arnett led the Mean Green with 14 points and 6 rebounds, while Jashawn Stevenson and E.J. Horton supported with a combined 25 points and 6 boards. Darian Ford tried to keep the Owls afloat with 20 points and 3 rebounds and 4 assists, but he couldn't complete the mission. And the Owls fall to 7-5 in the conference. And after the game, you heard from Coach Fisher, and he was about as fired up as we've seen him all season long.
Look, not the response we wanted. I thought last game on the road, we had a heart-to-heart, long couple practices. We didn't play Temple basketball at Tulane the right way. And we got back to some basics. Our mental approach wasn't there for whatever reason at Tulane. Today, I thought we responded by playing hard, but we had a little lapse in the second half. So a great credit to North Texas. They are tough. They are physical. Every catch is a collision. And we took the foot off our gas for whatever reason for a couple minute stretch there and didn't get the outcome we want. We got to be better at home. I appreciate the crowd coming out. I'm pissed that we have this many people and we play like this. We got to be better, and we'll respond and be ready for Wednesday. Questions? When you've got 7 games left in the season, you got to give it everything you got. That's as simple as that. You got to empty the tank, whatever it takes. If we need to rest these next 2 days to get ready for the next game, we'll do it. But when you're out there, you got to compete at a high level. It's not about that. It's about being pissed off. This should hurt. If you're in that locker room and it doesn't hurt, you shouldn't be in the locker room. But nobody cares. Right? We got to get better. We got to get better tomorrow. We got another opportunity. So we got to be angry about this, and then we got to learn from it. And that's our key. We got to learn and keep getting better. We got another great opportunity at home against a really good team, and we got to make sure we bring the same fight, but do it for 40 minutes.
When Temple took on USF 2 weeks ago, I said what goes up must come down. And with Temple leads, it almost always does. On Sunday, with 14 minutes to play, Temple led North Texas by 12 and was given a 94% chance to win by ESPN. But you don't need to be Nostradamus to know what comes next. The Mean Green responded with a 15-0 run, holding Temple scoreless for over 4 minutes. X-Man. It's the second game in a row where there's been genuine struggles in the second half for this Temple team. And with where they are in the standings, it just can't continue to happen.
No, absolutely. The offensive cold streaks are just destroying their momentum. They had a 6 minutes without a single bucket in the second half. That absolutely cannot happen, especially when you're looking at players that are very, very capable of scoring. When you're looking at, unfortunately, at Gavin Griffiths, who we've been talking about since even the post-game live show. Just an incredibly quiet night. 2 points. He went 1 of 10 from the field, 0 of 7 from three-point lane. He had 9 rebounds, so he still was able to be a little bit productive out there, but just not what you're looking for when you're looking to win games. Aiden Tobias's spotty night, only 12 points. Jordan Mason, who we are now learning later on had the flu, as you were saying, had only 5 points. But, yeah, really just offensive struggles, and it's really tearing apart this team.
Yeah, I mean, I said on Sunday that it's not a good situation if Swish Gilliard is taking tied for the most shots in a game, and I still stand by that. You know, I adore Swish's game, but it's just so frustrating for Temple, right? You knew exactly what North Texas was going to be. We were walking out of the show on Sunday, and we were going, they are who we thought they were, right? They shot they made 2 threes in the entire game. They're 360th in America in three-point percentage. And also, what did they do? They dominated Temple in the turnover battle. And guess what they do better than anyone in the American Conference? Force turnovers. Really frustrating for Temple. You let them off the hook in a game that you should have won. And, you know, you sit here, you're sick to your stomach about it, especially considering with the win, you'd be in second place in the American Conference.
Yeah, I mean, we heard Coach Fisher's sentiments. He was obviously not thrilled at all. He was pretty irate with the performance that we're seeing. And we were talking about it last show again. It's like they have these caricature-like flaws, and once they're really exploited, it seems they become very one-dimensional to each player. Once they lose that one thing that they're supposed to be good at, or once it's taken away from them, from the other team, they really seem to just collapse and lose all sense of identity. If Gavin Griffiths can't score, and if Aiden Tobiasen isn't scoring, Darian Ford can't do it all. He'll consistently give you 20+, but if no one else is going to score, you're not going to win that game. So we're seeing a lot of these caricature-like flaws start to come in. And like we were saying, North Texas, which is not a good offensive team, was able to win because they're able to exploit the glaring flaws, which again is just the interior work, which we will talk about
5 fouls,
which we will talk about for the rest of the year. It seems we're going to have to talk about the just poor interior play.
Just super frustrating. Only 6 makes over the last 5 games for Gavin Griffiths. But let's turn back the clock a little bit to last Wednesday. Temple in the Big Easy, celebrating their Mardi Gras with the green wave at Tulane. Tulane up 3 early, but check out this finish on the fast break from Swish Gilliard. He's from New York. That's where the Jelly Fam's from. Jelly Fam Swish, tough mitts. Very next play, Curtis Williams Jr. joins the scoring party with the tough fall-away mid-range J. Really pretty move. Wednesday night was an efficient one for Seton Hall transfer Scotty Middleton, who knocked down a team-high tying 2 threes in just 9 minutes of play. End of the first half, the ball is loose, shot clock winding down. It's chaos on the hardwood, but fear not, Jordan Mason comes to the rescue with the really nice floater, and they head to the half tied at 30.
Starting the second half, the Owls are down 3. Darian Ford driving, finds himself all alone in the paint, working the 6'8 defender, and gets the layup to go. The Tulane offense takes over from here, however, as Rowan Brumbaugh, who had a quiet offensive night, dishes it through the back door to Asher Woods for the layup. He wasn't scoring it, so Brumbaugh was serving it. Down 17 now, but a steal from Aiden Tobiasen gets it going in transition and gets the easy two-handed slam for Tobiasen. That would be his only bucket of the night, though, outside of free throws. Darian Ford, off of the dish from Jordan Mason, nails the 3-ball as he ends his night with a team-high 26 points. And another Brumbaugh dime gets it to Luke Rasmussen, who gets the layup and caps off the game for the Green Wave. The Owls take the L in this one. Your final score, 77-66. The Temple Owls wanted to focus on shutting down Tulane guard Rowan Brumbaugh, and for the most part, they did that. The Green Wave, however, then introduced a different way to beat the Owls. Brumbaugh was kept to only 11 points, while his teammate Tyler Ringgold picked up the slack with 22 points and went 50% from the field. Asher Woods also dropped 19 with an even higher 75% from the field. It was another defeat where Darian Ford went down swinging for the Owls, dropping 26 points while going perfect from the charity line. Jordan Mason scored 15, while Aiden Tobiasen had another quiet night with only 7 points, leading to yet another tough American Conference loss.
Just like our Courts in Session crew, the men's squad is on a quick turnaround of their own. On Wednesday night, the Owls are back in action on Broad in Montgomery, this time against UAB. Since the Blazers' arrival to the American Conference in 2023, UAB has had lots of success against the Owls, owning a 3-0 lead over Temple, including a win in the 2024 American Conference Final. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. It will be televised nationally on ESPNU. While the men's team looks ahead, so will we. We're up against our first break of the day.
And when we return, we're kicking things over to the women's squad, who also had a rough week and now sits square on the playoff bubble. Courts will be back soon. Welcome back to Courts in Session. On Saturday, the Temple women's team took on the ECU Pirates at the Liacouras Center. ECU had double-digit wins, Temple trying to save their season. Bottom of the first, and Tristan Taylor ties the game at 16 with the floater. Jaleesa Molina has it for the Owls, but it's ripped away by Taylor Barner, who in transition gets the layup to go. ECU up 2. In the second now, Tristan Taylor's given room to drive to the rim, where she'll find Felicia Jacobs on the inside for the easy bucket. Owls down just 1. ECU's been spreading the wealth and does so again to Jayla Herp on the wing, who cashes in the 3-ball, continuing her efficient offensive night and sending us to the second half.
Late in the third, Kennedy Fauntleroy knocks down her 4th of 4 makes on the quarter with some contact, count it, and 1. Last play of the third for Temple. Owls go the length of the floor, coast-to-coast radio. Sanaya Craig beats the buzzer. Temple down 9. Ajani Hutton's big day continued in the fourth quarter. She notched a team-high 19 points, including this and 1 layup. Temple still down 9. Savannah Curry from the corner cuts the lead to 6 with her final made 3 on the day. Very next possession, shot clock winding down for ECU. They need a bucket, and Hutton does just that. Her mid-range jumper tacks 2 more onto the Pirate lead. Under a minute to play, some active hands from Olivia Hilliard sets up Jayla Herp for a fast break layup to put the game on ice. Temple drops another conference game, 79-73. Saturday's game was about as balanced of an offensive performance as we'll see from Temple in conference play. 4 different Owls recorded double-digit scoring, with Sanaya Craig leading the way with a game-high 20 points. But with the women's squad's luck, with the good came even more bad. Even with an offensive performance like Temple had, the Owls still couldn't shake their turnover woes. Temple turned the ball over 24 times en route to their 3rd consecutive loss and 4th loss in their last 5 games.
I think most of our turnovers were careless. It's just within ourselves. We have more confidence in ourselves. If you just watch it, we're just giving them the ball. They're not really doing anything defensively. It's just within us. We gotta get out of it. I'll say put it together in practice. Like, it always starts in practice. We got to play harder in practice so we'll come to the games. Like, we play two good quarters, and then the rest of the quarters we just bled. Like, we not give up, but we just like let them have it. So we just got to put it all together. I wouldn't really say it's difficult. We just got to play solid defense. Like, we just got to keep our hands up. We know that they're trying to get to the line, so it's like prevent them by just playing solid defense.
I need our bench to be more aggressive and give us more. And, you know, oftentimes I try to give our starters a little rest, but our bench has really got to step up and fill the gap so that there's not much of a drop-off. And that's on me. Well, first, let me say ECU does have a tough defense, but I think our turnovers today were self-imposed. Just not making crisp passes, not going to meet the passes. And we've got to do better at that as well. You know, they turned it up a little bit at a point and turned us over. We had 17 turnovers in the first half. And we came out and turned them over. Obviously, they had 20 turnovers, but again, we cannot have early turnovers. And we had quite a few turnovers from the bench.
Those were Coach Richardson's and company's thoughts following another tough loss to the Pirates.
Courts in Session beat reporter Haley Smith was at Saturday's game to see Temple's issues up close and personal. And she's back at Broad in Montgomery with her report. Take it away, Haley.
Thanks, guys. Saturday's Valentine's Day game was a heartbreaker. Temple went into halftime tied with one of the leading teams in the conference, but couldn't find a way to pull out the upset. Maybe it wasn't a must-win, but it was another chance for the Owls to right the ship heading into Saturday's game against ECU. But Temple fell short yet again.
It was a tough game. We are trying to learn how to put 4 quarters together.
We play two good quarters, and then the rest of the quarters we just bled. Like, we not give up, but we just like let them have it.
The issues the Owls faced against ECU aren't new, but they were evident when it came to the Owls' matchup with the number 2 team in the conference. Temple had 17 turnovers in just the first half.
If you just watch it, we're just giving them the ball. Like, they're not really doing anything defensively.
We cannot have early turnovers, and we had quite a few turnovers from the bench. If they turn the ball over, they've got to be able to get to the next play, not put their heads down and cause another turnover.
Temple now finds itself in the middle of a 3-game losing streak after this loss to ECU. The Owls are now 4-8 in conference play with just 6 more games left this season.
Like, it always starts in practice. We got to play harder in practice so we'll come to the games.
It's got to start in practice. They need to start competing for minutes in practice so that they have the confidence in the game and we have the confidence in them.
The losses are piling up, but the team knows that finding confidence is going to be essential to make it into the new, shortened conference championship bracket, where the Owls are right on the bubble.
We give them confidence, but they have to have it themselves, and that's not something I can inject. I wish they had a needle for it that I can inject that, but these are young ladies, and young ladies need that extra oomph.
Just knowing that, you know, the work that we put in every day, like, it's for a reason. So just being confident in that, you know, will help us.
So, Haley, at this point in the year, we know that the only thing that matters at this point for Temple is the win and loss column, given where they are in the standings. But they did put up a great effort against second-place ECU, which is a moral victory. How was Temple able to stay in the game against an opponent of that caliber?
Yeah, like I said, they were tied at halftime, and the only quarter they really trailed by a large margin was the third quarter, where they were down by 9. The rest were really close, and they ended up forcing 20 turnovers to their 24, so that was definitely needed in that game.
And Haley, the Owls have obviously been struggling as of late. It's a bit of a theme. What are some things you're hoping Coach Richardson will really emphasize during this next game?
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Kayla Turner needing to show back up. I think she definitely needs to show up tonight to help spread the ball and overall give more support from the bench. Richardson says she doesn't like to experiment in games, so if she's not seeing it in practice, you're probably not going to get the start. So hopefully the intensity is picked up in practice this week so they can play a full 4 quarters.
Thanks, Haley. Excellent stuff as always. We're going to turn back the clock one more time to Tuesday night. Temple taking on a UTSA team that wasted no time in getting things started. Quick three from Damara Allen. Felicia Jacobs played a season-high 24 minutes and made the most of them. Look at this ball fake. Pop-Tart, nice move. On to the second, Kayla Turner getting busy. She dribbles all around the Roadrunner defense and finishes the pull-up mid-range just before the shot clock expires. Tuesday was all about Cheyenne Rowe, who led the game with a game-high 26, including this size-up mid-range jumper, and we head into the half tied again.
Jumping into the second half where we're tied as the Temple offense tries to get something going. It's, of course, Kayla Turner running the floor, and she dishes a dime on the inside to Sanaya Craig, who finishes the layup. Here's another dime, this to Sanaya Craig, this time from Brianna Mead, as the Owls' leading scorer adds another bucket. And if you're counting the dimes, we're at 20 cents currently. End of the third, Shauna Bean follows the formula, gets it to Rowe in the paint, who gets the lead going into the fourth. On offense, Brianna Mead has it, but it gets stripped away. Ariana Hardaway has it, and Adriana Robles finishes the layup in transition. Owls still down. The Roadrunners have their foot on the gas. Maya Hammond's shot won't go. Rebounded by Rowe, who cleans up with the putback. The Owls can only watch her dominance. Owls down 11. A Drew Alexander three ball will shrink the lead, but why not add just one more bucket for Cheyenne Rowe as the senior ends her dominant day with 26 points, 11 boards, and a dub. UTSA takes it. Final score is 52-43. The Owls got dominated on the boards by the Roadrunners, 43-29. That and a dominant offensive performance from UTSA forward Cheyenne Rowe was enough to put away the Owls. Rowe had 26 points and 11 rebounds, going 11 of 19 from the field. Sanaya Craig and Kayla Turner tried to generate some offense for the Owls with 13 and 12 points, but it simply wasn't enough. And Pat, simply wasn't enough, starting to be a very, very consistent theme for the Temple women's squad. We've been talking the last couple weeks about them just needing
the entire show,
the entire time we've been on air. We've been talking about how they need to have more scorers and more offensive output emerging. And for the most part, I feel like we have really started to see that a little bit. Sanaya Craig had 20 points. Savannah Curry with her season high of 18. Kayla Turner only with 14. Tristan Taylor with another 10. That's multiple double-digit scorers, yet they're still not able to come out and get these wins.
I'm starting to think of this women's basketball team as a barrel that's filled with water. And there's lots and lots of holes. And every time they plug it, they didn't turn the ball over that many times against UTSA, but what happened? No offense.
Yeah.
The offense comes against ECU, 4 double-digit scores. We get what we've been praying for, some help for Kayla Turner. What do? They turn the ball over 24 times.
Yeah. No, it's rough, and I think it's like you said, it's these things that are really just starting, like that barrel analogy. It is tiring, because if it's not one problem, it's the other. And, and another consistent problem, another consistent leak, if you will, is Jaleesa Molina. What happened? The beginning of the year, she was on fire. She had 6 double-doubles in a row, and ever since then, it's almost like she fell off the wagon. In 25 minutes, she had 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 turnovers. A nothing burger of a stat line for a player that is very good. We know what Jaleesa Molina is capable of. We've seen her show it earlier in the season. I'm not sure. We need to figure out if it's a Coach Richardson scheming thing, because we know she's trying to get new players involved, like freshman Ariana Merity. We know she's trying to get more players involved, and we heard her say in her presser that if you're not going to be doing well in practice, that you're not likely going to see those floor minutes. Now, whether or not that's what Molina's problem has been, it needs to be diagnosed, because they absolutely need her back.
My thing is, it's carelessness. You don't have the ball in your hands to turn the ball over 4 times in a game like she did last week. You saw in the first shot of the show, our cold open on my read, she turned the ball over, she puts her hands in the air, turns around, jogs back on defense, wide open layup for ECU. That can't happen. Like, you're not going to win basketball games. But enough about the past. Let's look towards the future. Who's on tap for the women's squad? That would be the Charlotte 49ers. The Owls fly down to Charlotte to meet with the streaking 49ers team that are winners of 3 straight. Temple also owns a 3-game streak of their own, a losing streak. As it stands, Temple finds itself in 9th place in the American Conference and 2 games back of the 7th place 49ers. The matchup serves as an opportunity for each squad to find some more breathing room in the march to the conference tournament. Tip-off is set for 6:30, and the game can be streamed on ESPN+. The women's team is looking ahead to Charlotte, and we're looking ahead to another break, but don't go anywhere.
When we return, it's time for the Court of Questions, the segment where Pat and I receive questions that we get to blindly answer. Courts is back at 90.
Welcome back to Courts in Session. It's time to shut off the teleprompter because it's time for the Court of Questions.
The segment where Pat and I get to blindly answer some questions that we are seeing for the first time
Terrifying.
live on air. It is terrifying.
Terrifying.
So, Director Emily, go ahead and kick us off. Question 1, can the men's team win the conference without an effective Gavin Griffiths? What a question. I think yes.
Oh.
It's rough.
Whoa.
The real trick here is to define an effective Gavin Griffiths. I think he can be effective on the I think if he's not effective offensively, there is a world in which they still come out at the top of this conference. However, it's super slim. Chances are really slim.
No, I'm gonna say absolutely not. He's made 6 shots over the last 5 games, and we've seen how they've looked, including a 2-game losing streak. It's hard to explain what he means to that offense, the gravity that he has, and if he's not shooting well, they're just not going to guard him. So the answer is a resounding no for me. Hit us with that second question. With the new playoff format, is it still possible for a team outside the top 4 seeds to win the conference title? Yes, but that's not what the tournament is designed for. They took the design from the WCC out on the West Coast to maximize their at-large bids. Obviously, with how the American Conference is shaped out this year, not going to happen. But with how up and down this league has been, I'm going to say yes. I think that if FAU finishes outside of the top 4, I would be, if I were a betting man, I'd bet on the Owls.
Yeah, well, the new format, like you were saying, it's interesting because it does seem to be built kind of top heavy.
It is.
With that being said, the American Conference is very kind of middle heavy, so it's very likely a team possibly outside of top 4 could make a nice run.
And in the women's conference, even less so. I really think that Rice is going to run away with the women's conference. Just with the disparity in women's basketball between the haves and the have-nots, it's really tough. So I'll say no on the women's side as well.
Question number 3 now. Who is a bigger lock to win the American? South Florida men or the Rice women?
Perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. It's got to be the Rice women. I think they've just shown a lot more dominance within their conference. I think South Florida, we've seen, like Temple recently beat them. There's South Florida, they have a couple losses that you can look at and really put a question mark against. Rice, way more dominant this year amongst their conference.
100%. I have to agree. I mean, I literally just talked about how there's such a big difference between them and everybody else. I don't see anybody touching Rice. They'll go on another run in the American Conference tournament. But USF has a higher ceiling. I'm more confident in them to win a tournament in the NCAA tournament game than I am for Rice. But Rice, nobody's touching them. Let's get that 4th and final question. Our first ever Temple Hoops postgame show on Sunday was awesome.
It was fantastic.
It was really fun. We couldn't do it without our awesome producers, Emily Courtney and Logan Matthews. They could have done it with anybody on desk, really. That was a lot of fun. Obviously, the result of the game stunk.
Yeah, we would like to see a North Texas win there, but with that being said, we had an absolute blast covering it. Having that whole live show feeling was absolutely fantastic. So, Director Emily, thank you.
Yeah, Director Emily, thank you for the questions. We always have a blast with this segment. I'm happy you guys didn't try to embarrass us this time, but we have another break upon us.
And when we come back, it's prediction time. We have a lot of games on the slate to pick from that you don't want to miss. Courts returns in 90.
Welcome back to Courts in Session. We have a full slate of games for the Temple basketball squads on both sides, so it's time for us to show off some of our ball knowledge with some predictions. Last week, we only had 4 picks, and Tamar Stubbs picked a correct score when he said the women's team would lose to ECU. Good job, Tamar. But I've got a feeling that we'll be much, much sharper this week, or at least I will be. I can't speak for them. X-Men, lead us off.
Debatable, Pat, but starting us off with the women's team taking on the Charlotte 49ers Tuesday down in North Carolina. When they last played just a few weeks ago, the Owls were able to squeak out a 1-point win. However, I do not know if Tuesday's results will be similar. The 49ers are currently on a 3-game win streak, and as the season has progressed, they've started to look stronger. They just beat Memphis thanks to senior guard Princess Anderson's potent offense, and their defense has taken significant steps forwards as of late. They've been in a lot of close one-score games, but they're starting to win them now thanks to clutch defensive stops. And if Temple wants to win, they're going to need good offensive output from multiple players, which just seems less and less likely as the season continues. I'm going to take Charlotte over the Owls by 5. Mr. Dallahan, you're up.
Thanks, X-Man. I'm flipping things over on to the men's side. Their next tilt against UAB on Wednesday. When it comes to the Blazers, two of their aspects on their offense really stood out to me. Their lack of turnovers and their pace. The Blazers rank first in all of Division I basketball in turnover percentage, with only 12% of their possessions ending in turnovers. The Blazers also rank inside America's top 100 fastest offenses, coming in at 78th in average possession lengths. For a Temple team that really struggles with defending in the transition, this combination between speed and discipline on offense will present quite the challenge. The question for the Owls is simple. The task is far more difficult. Can they slow down the Blazers and force their offense to operate in the half court? I'm hesitant to say yes, so I'll take UAB by 5 over the Owls. On to our beat reporters. Haley, what do you got?
Pat, I'm going to follow your lead and predict another loss for the men, this time for their game on Saturday versus Wichita State. Wichita State just beat Tulsa to tie for second place in the standings. One thing to keep an eye on is the rebounding. The Shockers are averaging about 40 boards per game compared to Temple's 34. If Pat's prediction comes true, the Owls will be on a 3-game losing streak with another tough opponent on the road. I think the odds are going to be too great for the Owls. Wichita State wins by 4. Tamar, what do you think?
When it comes to Temple versus Wichita State on Saturday, the Owls have to crack down on the third leading scorer in the American in the guard position, Kenyon Giles. Giles is an electric player who can shoot anybody's lights out from downtown. The Owls having bigger guards that can guard like Ford, Tobiasen, and Gilliard can cause trouble for him. Rebounding in the battle of the boards will be essential, absolutely essential for this game. Wichita State is the better rebounding team than Temple, but I have a feeling after that North Texas loss, this Temple squad will play harder, tougher, and with more heart. Keep an eye out on Gavin Griffiths. The shots have not been falling for him recently, but I think he's due for a masterclass in this game. I have the Owls taking this one by 6. It's about that time again, break time. When we come back, I'll be giving my predictions for some of the Men's American Conference preseason awards. Course in session, we'll be back in 90. Welcome back. The regular season is almost at a close, so I'll be giving my postseason award predictions for the American Conference for the men. First up, we have Player of the Year. I predict Temple's 6'3" locomotive Darian Ford to come home with this award. Ford has been one of the most consistent scorers, not only for the Owls, but for the entire American. Averaging 18 points per game, Ford reached double figures in scoring in all of Temple's games except one this season. Next, we have Newcomer of the Year, USF's 6'10" forward Isaiah Nelson, who transferred from Arkansas State, is in position to win this one. Nelson leads the American in double-doubles with 16 on the season and leads the entire American in rebounds. Nelson is one of the biggest paint presence offensively and defensively in the American. Next, we have Defensive Player of the Year. I predict FAU's 6'10" big man Devin Williams will take home this title. Williams leads the entire American in blocks at 2.7 a game, tallying 5 blocks against USF and 7 blocks against Memphis. Now let's move on to Freshman of the Year. FAU's 6'7" guard Josiah Parker will have this award. Parker was named preseason American Freshman of the Year, and he has been living up to it. Parker is averaging 9 points and 5 rebounds while shooting 52% from the field. Last but not least, I have the most improved player. I predict another Temple guy, the 6'5" sophomore Aiden Tobiasen. Tobiasen was on last year's all-freshman team, averaging just under 5 points and 2 rebounds. This year, he has nearly tripled his scoring production with 15 points per game while bringing in 3 rebounds and 2 assists, a major bucket and major reason for Temple's success this year. These are my Men's American Conference postseason award predictions. Remember, there is still some time left in the regular season for some changes, but that's my list with about 3 weeks left to go. Next time, I'll predict the Women's American Conference postseason awards. And my vote for Anchor of the Year, it's a statistical tie between none other than Pat and Xavier holding it down at the desk. Of course, guys, also remember there is still time left in the season for one of you to pull ahead.
Thanks, Tamar. That award is mine. Got it on lock.
No.
But we're starting to work up a sweat here in TV3, which in Suits is no bueno. So it's time for another break. Make sure to stick around.
When we get back, it's time for the beloved Pulse Check, our chance to zoom out a bit and look at the rest of the college basketball world. Courts back in 90. Welcome back to Courts in Session. We're wasting no time here. X-Man, time for the Pulse Check. What do we got?
Absolutely. We're starting with Texas Tech handing Arizona the former number one,
Right.
their second loss. Now there's a new number one sheriff in town. It's the Michigan Wolverines following that loss.
Yeah, we'll dump over to another game in the Big 12. Last night, some Hill-in magic. Iowa State taking down number 2 ranked Houston out there in Ames, Iowa. And speaking of Michigan, on Saturday, it's the best college basketball slate of the year. Number 1, Michigan. Number 4, Duke. Number 2, Houston. And number 3, Arizona. All play each other, and I'm at a wedding in New Hampshire. Megan Ryan, I love you guys. I'm going to be watching that. Again, love you to death, but that's where I'll be focused. In the 2 games, Duke and Michigan, who do you got?
Michigan. They're very down. Michigan, yeah.
Arizona and Houston.
Arizona
taking
needs a
Houston.
big bounce.
I'm taking Houston and
is a
Michigan.
nice team. They need to bounce back. Moving on to more dominant teams, we have to look at the women's side. South Carolina with a top 10 SEC win. Again, more dominance out of there. And even a more dominant team in women's basketball is UConn. Those girls look absolutely untouchable. 27-0, Pat.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Gino Auriemma wins national championship number 13. A ridiculous number, a really ridiculous number. But right now, we're really starting to see the women's college basketball tournament take shape, especially those top 4 seeds. The top 3 are all but locked in.
Yeah.
That would be UConn, UCLA, and South Carolina. There's one
All
more
with
open
incredibly
spot,
dominant
and
seasons.
it could really, really go to anybody. So it'll be really interesting here as we move into March to see who's going to nap up that last 1 seed spot. If Juju Reese was healthy, it would be USC, but right now, there's really no telling. But we are out of time. Thank you all so much for joining us today for another edition of Courts in Session. As always, Pat Dallahan alongside my guy, Xavier Adams.
And in case you miss us again, we will be back here in TV3, same time, same place, next week on TUTV. And if you need your fill of other Temple athletics, be sure to tune in to TUTV this Thursday at noon for our next episode of Owl Sports Update, where Jackson Batchelor and Emily Dino Terrace give you all the full breakdown. One more time, we say thank you, and we'll see you soon.